boost in regards to Diallo getting his new deal. Shock 50 million offer coming in January for Manchester United star. One player wants out, and that will be either in January or the summer, and a couple other players we know will just leave anyway. Shock January signings being prepared. I mean, Florian Plettenberg has linked us to about 50 million players in the last few days, but there is some interesting transfer news. There is some updates on Gyokeres. There is some updates on our transfer plans. Players we're looking at, and two of the players we're looking at are quite exciting, and I hope we are looking at them. Amorim then speaks about certain players like Mazraoui and how he's impressed, and then of course we're going to talk about Amorim, what he said ahead of the Arsenal game. If you did not watch my live stream yesterday, it was confirmed that Lenny Yoro should be in the squad for the Arsenal game, which is fantastic news. And then we'll get into other stories about Ten Hag's next job and more. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. As always, if you do enjoy the video, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new and want daily United content. I'm on that road to 100,000 subscribers. We're so close yet so far. We're on 98,291 subscribers, so only 9 off 98.3k. But let's dive into the first bit of information, and this was said on Amad Diallo. Amad is happy with Ruben Amorim, and Amorim is happy with Amad. He loves and trusts the player. We can tell that Ruben Amorim likes Amad. The difference between Anthony right wing back and Amad right wing back was very much thin, and Amad has been really good in his last two starts under Ruben Amorim. He also looked very good under Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he's taken to that right wing back role well and surprised me, because I always think he really does suit the front three, that 10 role, if I'm going to be honest, under Ruben Amorim. And I think if we're going to play a team with an Alphonso Davies or like Ipswich Leaf Davies, where Amad could be pinged back by having to mark a wing back, then I think we should have Amad in the front three as a 10. But I think if we're going to dominate possession, Amad as a wing back works well, because the way I see it is Mazraoui being the right centre back allows Amad to almost be basically a winger, essentially, and then we can get another 3 players into that attacking 3. Romano said that Man United may not even need to activate the option for one more season because long-term contract could be signed this December. I think that now Ten Hag is gone and Amad is starting games and he's getting on well with Amorim and he's playing a part. I think Amad has always wanted to stay at United, but obviously wanted to go when he wasn't getting the minutes from Ten Hag. But I think now Amad is happy and you can see him, he's happy. I think Amad himself is very much happy to put pen to paper and sign a new deal at United, which is good. And this is something I think we need to get done ASAP, because I tell you what, if we lost Amad on a free, I think that is one of the worst things this club has done. Would have been honestly one of the worst decisions, especially because we actually did pay a bit of money for him, but he's becoming good. So let's talk about money, because apparently Real Madrid will make a 50 million offer for Diogo Dalot in January, and he said will make, not they could, he said will make a 50 million offer for Diogo Dalot in January. They're keen to move for Dalot now rather than wait for Trent. They want to make a move now. To be honest, and I like Dalot, but if I'm Real Madrid, I'd say spend 50 million on Dalot or wait 6 months and get Trent. And I guess that is writing off the season, but I don't think Dalot's a signing that's going to change the course of Real Madrid's season. So I think if they really want Trent, I'd if I was Real Madrid, I'd wait for Trent. But I do think Dalot's a good fullback. I think Dalot is someone that is technically good, that is good on the ball, that is physically good. I think sometimes, his final ball and his crossing isn't absolutely amazing, but he does the job. And I think he's not been at his best quite recently because he's been playing on the left and he's fatigued. But he was our player of the season last year. He's someone that really does help the squad. And I don't think Amorim will want to sell him. We'll have to see how he does. I don't think he's going to be the left wing back. I think he's going to be the right wing back, right centre back. You can't judge him until we see him playing on the right under Ruben Amorim, let's be honest. He hasn't been impressive in the left wing back role, but that isn't his position long term. I like Dalot. Obviously, he's dropped off a bit in recent games. £50 million for him. You're probably going to say, you know what, we'd accept that bid. But I don't see Real Madrid doing it, and I don't see Dalot leaving United. But it was said that Real Madrid are interested in Dalot, and they've asked Man United about him, and they've been told his price is €50 million. But there is a few reports, and Dalot was linked to Real Madrid about 2 months ago. Real Madrid want Trent. If they can't get Trent, they might move for Dalot. But again, I think they are going to get Trent. I don't know what Liverpool are doing with Trent and Van Dijk and Salah's contract situation. It's so silly what they're doing, particularly Van Dijk and Salah and Trent. It's just, Trent's young. I don't know what Liverpool are doing with that, to be honest. Anyway, continuing on into this. Bayern Dier. So does Bayern Dier want out of United? Because there was a report last week that he did want out of United. It's said there's an expectation that Altay Bayindir could leave the club in one of the next 2 transfer windows, as he's simply too good to be number 2 behind Onana and currently has no prospect for regular playing time. Now, I'm going to be honest, when Bayindir has played, which is very few times, he's really not impressed me. He's really not been any good. Not going to lie. Manchester United are in the market for a new third choice keeper or potentially a new number 2 and 3 if Bayindir leave. Shouldn't be too expensive getting a second and third choice keeper, but you just got to make sure the second choice you get is all right in case something happens to Onana. I remember when we used to have Romero. Romero as De Gea backup was such a good keeper to have. I haven't been impressed with Bayindir. I think he's a player that was playing regular football and could be playing regular football and maybe should have moved to United. But let's be totally honest, he's not been that impressive, has he? We could have looked at Suzuki for that second goalkeeper spot, but maybe he did want regular game time. I think Bayindir will go. I think Bayindir, Eriksson, Lindelof will all leave. Confident of that. I think Anthony could leave. I think Casemiro could leave. I think Maguire could leave. I think Malacia or Shaw could leave. And then maybe there's going to be 1 or 2 shock exits. You never know. Continuing on, who have been Man United's 2 best players this season? Well, actually, I'd say 3 best players, Ahmed, Mazraoui and Onana, but because Ahmed was on the bench because of Ten Hag, probably Mazraoui and Onana have been our 2 best players this season. It was said that United are currently very pleased with the performances and development of Andre Onana, and Amrin said of Mazraoui, he doesn't see him much in training because he recovers with the series of matches he's having, but in matches he's an excellent player because he understands the game, he knows how to attack, he's technical, very good defensively, one-on-one, he is a modern player, the future of our team. We need more players like Mazraoui, capable of controlling the tempo and very comfortable with the ball. I'm happy for him. Ruben Amorim has taken a liking to Mazraoui, and that does not surprise me. But let's talk about some of the players we're being linked to ahead of the transfer window. RB Leipzig's David Raum is on Manchester United's list for left back, and he's considered a good fit for Ruben Amorim's system. There were concrete discussions with the player last summer. We were also linked to him in 2022. I like the guy. I'd take him at Manchester United, absolutely. Not in my top 3, but I do like the player, and I think 2 seasons ago I really wanted him at the club. Manchester United are monitoring the situation of Frankfurt midfielder Hugo Larsson. Frankfurt have been excellent in the Bundesliga, and Hugo Larsson, a 20-year-old midfielder, has been absolutely excellent, an exciting player coming through there. And then Yildiz is also one of the names that United are looking at on the shortlist for the midfield position. I like Yildiz, he's a decent player, but I don't think there's a need for him. I think that from what I've seen, which is very little, I'm not going to lie, I need to watch more and do more research. I prefer Larsson and Raum to Yildiz, obviously different positions, but I think for me, Yildiz is a good young player, but we've got a lot of young players, and I don't know if he's quite, I don't know how I feel about him. I'd have to watch more of him. But let's talk about this. So David Raum is a player that United have on their shortlist. There was discussions last summer. He's 26 and he played left wing back. He's a good crosser. There's been discussions about it because obviously he is a left wing back. He's currently out injured with an ankle problem, and his contract runs out in 2027. Now, if you look at his FBrest statistics, when it comes to assists, when it comes to, shot creating actions, he is at the very top. He is someone that is good in the final third. And if you look at the positions Dalot was getting him, and then Dalot's crosses, which weren't the best, you think if you have a player like that in those positions, you are going to feel a bit more secure. I do think Dalot is better defensively, but going forward, he probably has what Amorim would want, so it could be one to watch out for. So let's talk about Hugo Larsson. Now, I've only seen actually him play 2 or 3 games, so I can't tell you much about him myself. But this is what was said in December 2023 about him a year ago. I'm generally impressed with how quickly 19-year-old Hugo Larsson has adapted to the demands of the Bundesliga. He already looks like someone who's played 50-plus games in the German top tier, a very talented box-to-box midfielder who was on trial with Chelsea in 2021 but decided to stay in Sweden and continue his development at Malmo, which was a very smart decision. And he's been described as a 20-year-old box-to-box midfielder that could play as a DM. Pace, passing, dribbling, vision, technique, composure, work rate control, excellent athleticism. Been compared to Toni Kroos. I think moving on Christian Eriksen, this could be someone to look at. I think we need a more of a 6 player that's good on the ball, that is an out of possession specialist to back up Ugarte, and then maybe this guy could be someone that could compete with Maino. From what I've seen, he looks good, he looks impressive, he looks comfortable on the ball. I think this could be one to watch as well. Manchester United have also been linked to Gyokeres for the 55th time in the last 2 weeks because Ruben Amorim's coming in. They're just going to link us to Gyokeres. I'm sure we've had a look at Gyokeres, but I don't know if we'll go for him. Now, Florian Plettenberg has linked us to him because he's linking us to everyone. And he said that Man United made initial concrete talks regarding Victor Gyokeres and a potential move in the summer. They're now fully involved. However, this will require sales first. Man City have also intensified their efforts. I like Gyokeres. I think left wing back, left centre back is the priorities. Midfielder with legs is third. They're the 3 priorities. Attack is 4th. We'll have to see what happens. If Højlund and Xerxes are scoring goals, then we probably don't need it. I've always felt with United, while I couldn't say no to Gyokeres, I've always felt the reason we're not scoring goals isn't to do with the individuals, it was to do with the system. And if Amorim can fix the system, the need for goals is less. And this is what Amorim says, last but not least, ahead of the Arsenal game and what he expects from players. He says it's important to be brave. That doesn't mean pressing all the time. We have to understand the game. We have to have the ball. That's the key point. We want to dominate certain moments of the game because it's going to be difficult to control the whole game. But the word bravery for the Arsenal game. Emirates is the second hardest game after Anfield. Let's hope we can get the win. Thank you for watching. Bye.